Hey guys, I'm on day 2 of No Internet November. That's right, Mediacom. They failed me. I've got no internet. Hey guys, can a 20-year-old camera stack up against a brand new, my newest camera, the M50? This thing weighs about 5 times as much and basically can do about 1/5 as much as this camera. Let's compare them. All right guys, here it is, the Canon 1D. Not a 1D Mark I. I mean, you can call it that, but it's really just the Canon 1D. This camera is 20 years old now. Came out in 2001. It's 2021 now. I've had it for probably about 10 or 11 years, and I haven't really used it that much, mainly because of this right here. The batteries this camera uses are terrible. I got this camera super cheap because it was really rough. It even has a cracked prism, which you can kind of see through the GoPro. It doesn't affect how the camera works, but I think I got the camera for like $50 on eBay. And it works great, except for the fact that I didn't get a battery with it and I didn't get a charger. So I use my RC car charger. It's got these 2 big metal contacts here. You can just hook up alligator clips to. But these nickel metal hydride batteries are terrible. Getting them to stay charged or getting them to take a charge after, like, say you don't use it for a year. I've been messing with this battery, charging it on and off for like 2 days now, and I think I finally got it where it's holding a decent enough charge where I can use the camera. So let's go use it. So I put on the nifty 50mm f1.8 Canon lens, took a few photos around the house at 400 ISO and a low f-stop. This camera does great. You'd never know that this was, you know, a 20-year-old camera. This wall photo looks pretty much the same. You're limited to 4x3, old school 4x3 image sizes, so that's kind of a problem. But things change a little bit when you go outside, and this is ISO 3200, or what they call H, because it's expanded and it's pretty noisy. But honestly, it's kind of cool that you can get a photo like that outside with a 20-year-old camera. Kind of impressive to me. I mean, is it usable? I mean, yeah, you can tell. I mean, that's what it looked like. A little bit of noise in the road. The road's really the only bad location. This is the M50 at ISO 6400, and there's not a lot of noise. The image, if you go in and look close, you can tell the image is so much more processed. There's a lot more detail, and one of the biggest things is look how much more natural the colors are. The colors are just so much more like that's true to life, what it actually looked like, instead of that yellow cast. I could zoom in a lot more detail, but still, just looking at the 2 images, they're not that different. All right, guys, so here it is. So first off, the 1D's got some weird menus and stuff, or some weird controls you don't really see on more modern DSLRs. So first off, the mode button, you don't have any dials. There's no dials except for the standard dial on the back, standard dial right here. So you've got this mode dial. You can switch out your modes. All the standard modes are here. And then you hit these in different combinations. So if you want to change the drive, you hold those 2 down. If you want to change the ISO, you hold those 2 down. The camera has the APS-H format, so it's a 1.3 crop. So pretty close to full frame, about, you know, halfway between full frame and a regular crop sensor. So you can get some pretty wide. We'll do a couple selfies real quick. I've got the ISO on 800 because it's pretty dim out here this morning, rainy, dim day. So if you want to review, you won't find a playback button anywhere on this camera. Instead, you hit display, and then you get that tiny little screen right there. So hopefully you can see, there's me. If you want to change, you have to hold down the select button, and then you can go through the photos like that. There's no way to zoom in. I guess they hadn't thought you might want to zoom in and check your focus or anything like that. Just the simple idea that you could look at the photos that you just took and just see how they look on the camera on a screen, even if it's a tiny little postage stamp screen, was still pretty amazing. you know, so the idea of zooming in or having a big screen wasn't really necessary. I automatically want to hit that button right there and zoom in. I do absolutely love the viewfinder though. Love using this camera's viewfinder because it's really bright. I mean, it's a professional level viewfinder, so it's really bright. You can see everything. These horses are really studying me. They're like, what's this guy up to? Why does he keep pointing stuff at us? Yeah, I might get some good shots. This guy looks like he's like, take my picture, man. I'm ready. Look, I got an American flag behind me in the background. So one of the great things about a camera like this, you don't really have to worry about it. I can just set it on the ground. If it got knocked over, I wouldn't care. Oh, he's peeing. Oh man, get his morning pee in. I'm gonna leave these horses alone. The really like point I want to make though is that we think cameras go obsolete when they really don't. I mean, a good image is a good image. At 4 megapixels, yeah, you can't zoom in, you're not gonna be able to print it that large, but this is a, you know, if this camera had a better battery that I didn't have to worry about going dead all the time, I would be using it all the time. That's the number one reason why this camera just didn't get used for me very much, is because of the battery. In reality, a 20-year-old camera that took good pictures 20 years ago still takes good pictures today. Wow, that's awesome. That's my favorite one so far. The two side by side looking straight at me. Just some final thoughts. If you only wanted to take photos, I would actually prefer just using this camera. If all I was doing, well, put it this way, if all I was doing was taking outdoor photos with a longer lens, with good light, and I didn't really want to use the live view, this would be the better camera. I just prefer using this kind of viewfinder. I prefer having the nice bigger camera. The autofocus is way better, faster, even than this one for photography. And with a bigger lens, I just prefer having the bigger camera. But if basically almost all the time this is better. I don't really like the size of it that much, but I kind of do when I just want to carry around the small camera. You can do so much more. Of course, you can take video. It's got so many more things it can do. It's got all the wireless and Bluetooth capabilities. It's just such a better camera at, you know, a fairly good price point. But if you're just taking pictures, there's something amazing about using a big, full professional camera like this that's incredibly responsive and hearing that awesome click when you take a picture. See ya.